Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me again. Today is the first day of a 3-episode series I'm gonna have on the channel. It's about Hermes. Make sure you're fully subscribed and turn on notifications because we're gonna be talking about stores today where you can score without spend. I'm gonna have a lot of controversial, unpopular opinions today, so get ready. And then in tomorrow's video, we're gonna have some really cool stories about shenanigans and games. I'm gonna talk about the Sydney boutique tomorrow because I know I have a lot of you guys who are watching from Australia. So we're gonna talk about the Sydney store tomorrow, okay? So I hope you're ready. And then on Saturday, we're gonna talk about the Faubourg Saint-Honoré boutique, the mothership herself. Lots of unpopular opinions about that as well. So I really hope that you enjoy this series if you like what I'm doing. So make sure you drop a like for the video. Let's just get straight into it. First thing, let me just say, disclaimer, because I know I'm going to have people who are going to watch this video and are going to like pick out little things I say and then try and like misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm going to be focusing only on boutiques from my research, from reading online, and from speaking to many of you guys that have proven themselves time and time again as being places where you can score with minimal spend. Note what I said, minimal spend. So some places it's zero. Some places it's like minimal spend, like maybe if you buy a Click H or something or some Orans and you ask for a bag, you'll be given. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. I want to be clear, we're only talking about places that require minimal spend. And I know there's some of you in the UK, you know, you operate on the wish list thing. We're not really going to be focusing on that because most Hermes boutiques do not operate on the wish list. It's very few countries that have that. So we're only talking about places that require minimal spend. I know that many of you who live in the US and you know you're trying to figure out how you're going to be getting a bag for Christmas, okay? That's the new theme of this channel, Birkins and Kellys for Christmas. And in fact, a Constances as well for Christmas. That's the new theme. So I hope that this video is going to be very helpful. I also have a companion article to this video that you can read on my blog if you prefer to just read everything. So yeah, here we go. Let's start off with the first boutique, which is Hermes St Barths. So this is the boutique in the island of Saint Barthélemy in French, but more commonly known in English as St Barths. So St Barths is what's called an overseas collectivity of France. So it's part of France. People from St Barths are French citizens. St Barths actually used to be part of Guadeloupe, and Guadeloupe is a département d'outre-mer in French, and basically what it means, it's like an overseas region of France. So you have Guadeloupe, Martinique, and then you have Saint Martin, which is also an overseas collectivity, and St Barths. This is important to understand because I feel like when you go to places, you should know the culture to which you're going to. The St Barths boutique is in the capital of St Barths, which is called Gustavia. I want to say a shout out to one of my subscribers, Brian. I remember many moons ago, Brian commented on an Hermes video and brought St Barths up and said that it was definitely a place that people are going to score. That inspired me, so I started doing my research. So thank you, Brian, for bringing that up. Yeah, St Barths is definitely flying under the radar. Very few people talk about this place. Everyone seems very focused on Mexico, 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 but allegedly you can go there. I know I have a few subscribers who are in the West Indies, Jamaica, Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, and Guyana. If you are in the West Indies, please can you report back? Have you been to the St Barths boutique? Do you have anything to report back? Because technically, this is the only boutique in the West Indies. So not only is it serving like St Barths and the tourist trade of St Barths, but it's also serving the entire West Indies. I'd be very curious to hear from you guys if you've been there. So what I've heard about this boutique is as follows. It's a seasonal boutique. St Barths has a very vibrant like New Year's Eve, end of the year, like party scene. Lots of super rich people go there, lots of yachts and things like that. So I would guess that it's like from around November time is when the boutique I think reopens, like November is when it reopens. So it's like busy in November and December. If you can, if you're in the US or if you're in the West Indies, in another country, get down and you're trying to score a bag, get down there. Allegedly, according to what I've seen people say on social media, on Facebook and Instagram, allegedly, if you walk in there and you are just very upfront and say, hey, I'd like to buy, you know, a Kelly 25, a Birkin 25, apparently they will give it to you. Apparently, it would just be like, okay, cool, you can have it. You know, if it's there, and as long as it's not reserved for another client, they will give it to you. Okay, which to me is refreshingly honest for Big H and her shenanigans. Okay, So I thought that was just fantastic. I also read on the press forum that allegedly there are a lot of exotics. So if you like exotics, you can get them there. And yeah, apparently it's just a place where you can score. People have reported scoring, and it completely flies under the radar because everyone is focused on Mexico and the boutiques in Mexico. But apparently that this is a great place to go. I was also thinking, like, when it pertains to this place, like this might be the place to go and see if there are those like harder to get items that maybe require way more spend. So for example, maybe you could go here, maybe you could buy, like, you know, I don't know, buy a bracelet or something and then ask them if they have a mini Kelly, or ask them if they have a Kelly pochette. It's just something to think about. I'd love to know what you think. I think that this is definitely one of the like under the radar places that no one talks about. We never really talk about it, and apparently you can go there and score. Now, don't go and tell everybody. Let's keep these things nice and quiet, okay? Seriously. Okay, let's move on to the next boutique that is known for giving bags without a lot of spend, is Hermes Cancun. The Cancun boutique is really booming on TikTok, especially. I've seen a lot of people who are on TikTok who said the Cancun store is somewhere that you can go with minimal spend, maybe even like under $1,000, and you'd be offered a bag. Maybe if you even ask for a larger bag, like a Birkin 35 or a Kelly 32, they'll give you the bag, you know? So that's a good thing. So apparently this place is like, if you're open to those like larger sizes, you can go there. There's another boutique, I think, in Guadalajara in Mexico, and there's another boutique in Mexico City. I think Mexico City has more than one, but I might need to check that. Mexico in general is seen as a place where you can score. If you're in the US, you don't want to travel to France, see if you can go to Mexico maybe in the next few weeks and see what's popping down there. See if there's like, you know, anything, you know, going on. Maybe you could get, you know, one of the larger sizes. I do think in light of the Big H drought, people need to be realistic about sizes and be realistic. You know, you probably need to be open to a larger size, like the Kelly 32, like the Birkin 35, like the Birkin 40. You know, be open-minded. Don't be that annoying person that's like, well, I only want to buy a Birkin 25 in black. You know, come on. That's a very competitive color. It's very competitive right now because of the situation with, you know, Hermes's, you know, the way Hermes, you know, completely messed up their, you know, logistics for the US. It's going to be very competitive going to these other places. So, you know, be flexible if you're given an offer. Don't be that annoying person that like goes to Hermes Cancun, you ask for a Birkin 35, they give you one, and then you're like, okay, I'm not going to take it. Because you might be ruining that for like the next person, you know? So yeah, just keep that in mind. The next boutique we're going to talk about is Hermes Istanbul. Now, Istanbul comes up time and time again on forums, on pages, on social media. It constantly comes up. I've been looking into Istanbul. Allegedly, this location is, you know, for people, again, who are more open-minded to the larger sizes, okay? The Istanbul boutique, from what I have read online, does have VIPs, and there are people, obviously, who are like VIPs there. So this is not a place to go and ask for like a mini Kelly or a Kelly pochette or something like that, but definitely those like larger size bags like the Kelly 32. Apparently they're very open-minded towards tourists. A lot of the Italian stores, you know, we've talked about on the channel, like the Milan boutique, for example, and the Venice boutique, they're not as like, you know, if a tourist says, hey, can I buy this? I'm like, no, it's only for locals. And the Amsterdam store in the Netherlands is known for that as well. Whereas apparently the Istanbul boutique is much more welcoming, let's say, to tourists who want to buy cold, you know, hey, can I buy a bag? Okay, fine. They might be like, okay, what would you like to buy? Some, you know, would you like to buy some bracelets as well? Would you like to buy a scarf or something? They might be like that, and then, you know, maybe they'll offer you a bag. Istanbul continuously comes up time and time again as somewhere that will offer a larger bag, if you're willing to, like, you know, maybe spend a little bit of money, or you might even just get lucky and might walk in there and say, hey, I'd like to buy, you know, a Kelly 32 or Birkin 35, and they might give you one. The Lyon boutique is, I think, one of the most famous boutiques when it pertains to the French ones, outside of FSH. Goes without saying, we're not talking about FSH today, but the Lyon store continuously comes up in conversation on social media as somewhere where, if you're, again, open-minded towards the larger sizes, and if you hit it off with the SA, you could be, you know, offered a bag. The thing you need to understand is, like, Lyon is a big city. I believe Lyon is also where Interpol actually have their HQ. So there are lots of high-ranking diplomats in this city. The city it's not that it's not competitive. The city is competitive, okay? There is a vibrant expat community there, and there's also obviously the local community. So you have local VIPs, you have expat VIPs, and the city, is popping. Lyon's popping. Now, the reason why I feel like Lyon has like generated a lot of positive stories is because it seems to me, at least from what I've read online and speaking to some people as well, is that the Lyon boutique has this, they seem to kind of understand that, FSH is getting really tough. The Parisian boutiques are getting tough. There are people who are willing to say, let me jump on a train ride for a few hours and see, if I can score. I do think you probably need a strategy for the Lyon store just because they get so many people heading down there who maybe weren't successful scoring in Paris. You probably do need a strategy. From what I've heard, it's not like it's a guarantee if you ask for a Birkin 35 without spend you'll be given one, but it's likely that if you buy something small, maybe you buy a few bits and pieces, or even just maybe one small thing, and then you say, hey, do you think you have a Birkin 35? I'm really trying to get one. I wasn't successful in Paris, and then go from there basically and see, what you can do. So I think again, the Lyon store is like where a lot of the success stories outside of Paris are. I've heard of people scoring consistently in the Lyon boutique for the past like 2 years. It constantly comes up as, okay, I didn't get an appointment in Paris, what should I do? Hey, go to Lyon and see if you can make it happen. But I think again, be realistic, don't be that annoying person that's like, I'm going to Lyon for the day. Maybe you should go there for like 2 days and make a trip out of it. So it's not a complete stressful situation that's just about Hermes. Make a trip out of it and then be like, oh hey, just popped in, I just wanted to see, I'm really excited. You could also like tell the SA that you love seeing what different stock is in different Hermes boutiques or whatever, and just like create that rapport and see what happens. The next boutique we're going to talk about is Hermes Marseille. Now, the Marseille boutique has been talked about on YouTube as well, and the Marseille boutique constantly comes up again and again. There are lots of theories about this boutique that I've heard. Some people say that the city doesn't have as many VIPs as other cities around France. So Nice, Cannes, they will have a lot of VIPs. The Saint Tropez boutique, will have a lot of VIPs. Allegedly, can't prove it, okay? But allegedly, this boutique doesn't have as many VIPs as the other boutiques. So because the VIP spend for that city isn't as high, it means that they're a little bit maybe more open-minded. If you are willing to maybe buy something small, they might be willing to offer a Kelly 32, a Birkin 35, maybe even a Birkin 30 or a Kelly 25. It just depends, I think, on the stock issue. Again, like I said, because I know I'm going to get people saying, that's not true, Marseille's my home store, I can't score. I'm just going based off anecdotal things that constantly come up. If you spend even just like a few days in groups, particularly on Facebook, if you follow people on Instagram, the Marseille boutique does come up, the Lyon boutique comes up, and the Marseille boutique, people have said time and time again, it is maybe not as competitive as even compared to like other French stores. It's just not as competitive, so there could be a chance. Marseille is far, and I think it is important to note that. I think, you should only go there if you are maybe, you're not just going to be in Paris. I don't know whether I would think it's worth it to, head down to Marseille, because I feel like it's just really, really far. So maybe it might be worth it if you're in France in general, you're not just in Paris. So you need to also think about your time, because you have to factor in the time you're spending traveling to this place, the money you're spending, on hotels and on travel as well. So just put that in mind. Although to me, Marseille to me sounds like it could, be successful and it could work. I also feel like there could be a chance to score maybe even an exotic piece like a Kelly Pachette in the Marseille store, or even the Lyon boutique, because if you try for those like harder to get pieces, maybe in those like cities outside of France, it might not be as hard if you're willing to spend some money. Yes, they have their local clients and stuff, but you get what I'm saying about the Marseille store. Now, the reason why I don't want to talk about FSH today is because I feel like people kind of are misunderstanding what's going on with FSH, okay? So in this one group I'm in on Facebook, I was having a little bit of a friendly Michael Jackson argument, okay, with somebody who was like, well, I scored in Paris and I didn't have any spend. And I'm like, I hate to be that annoying person, okay? But I have to be that annoying person and say, we all know you don't need to have any spend in order to score in Paris. So there's no need for people to make it seem like, wow, I scored with no purchase history. We know you don't need purchase history. So we're not talking about FSH today because FSH, Sevra, and Georges Cinq are their own beast. I really hope you watch all 3 of these episodes because my FSH video I'm super excited about. I have my own internal FSH document that I have created, my own FSH checklist, okay, that I've created for when I go to Paris, and I hope we'll be going there in a few months. So I will be sharing that with you guys. It's actually something that's super private, but I will share it with you because I feel like it might help someone who's going to be going to Paris. So I don't want to talk about FSH today because I just feel like people, I think sometimes kind of use it as a clout thing now to other people. I've been seeing that's happening a lot on social media, like, well, I went to Paris and I got a Birkin and I didn't spend anything. You know, it's like, well, you don't need to spend anything in Paris, okay? Let's see if you could do that in San Francisco, honey, okay? Let's see if you can do that in Hong Kong, in Shanghai, honey. Can you walk into the Shanghai boutique, okay? And can you get a mini Kelly without spend? Let me stop you right there. It's not gonna happen. To talk about as well, hard to get colors in bags that are not quota bags, well, except one because the shadow is a quota bag. Let's talk about the velour and the synthetic and the shadow really quickly. I have seen the velour in a few hard to get colors, particularly on Instagram. I've seen it in some hard to get colors and online. I've also seen the synthetic in gold as well, and I've seen the shadow Birkin in gold as well. And I do think that these colors are like really, really hot colors that people love, you know, those neutral colors, those sort of classic colors. People love those colors and people want to get them. So even bags, which the velour is not a quota bag, the synthetic is not a quota bag, you should be able to walk into any boutique and purchase that bag. Even like the synthetic and the velour in, like, you know, gold, in cray, it's not a guarantee that you'll be able to walk into any store, with the exception of FSH, and be offered that bag because of the color. The colors are also super, super hot. So that's something important to remember. Like, if you're willing to like be open-minded about colors for your Birkin, your Kelly, your Constance, I feel like you're going to be more successful. You know, I want to kind of reference something that happened on another page that I like. There were a bunch of people commenting on this luxury YouTuber's video that was an Hermes unboxing, and someone was saying, I don't know why people like make it seem so hard to score a Birkin. I walked into my local store, I asked for a Birkin 35 and I was given one, you know? And, you know, I had to be that annoying person in my Michael Jackson voice to be like, look, you know, happy for you and stuff, but, you know, Birkin 35s are not really desirable at the moment, you know? No one is really trying to buy those, you know, big bags. No one's really checking for them, okay? And while we think that big bags are going to come back in style, they're not really hot right now. Look at the resale prices for the, you know, Birkin 35, for, you know, the Kelly 32. People are struggling to offload those bags, you know, because people really want those like big, those like smaller pieces right now, you know. And I was just saying, I think it's really important to also acknowledge that if you scored a Birkin or a Kelly, like a Kelly 32 or a Birkin 35 without spend, it is more likely that you can walk into a store, let's exclude Europe because it's really hard to score in Europe at the moment, even with larger size, but you can walk into a store and ask for, hey, I'd like to buy a Birkin 35, and it's likely that you might get it offered if in that particular market those larger bags are not popular. Now that excludes Asia, because Asia is so competitive that even in Hong Kong, the mini Lindy is even seen as a quota bag in Hong Kong. The mini Lindy is actually very hard to get in lots of the Asian boutiques. So let's just keep that as an open mind. I know it's really hard on social media, and for a lot of you guys as well, you know, you're waiting for your bags, you're being really patient. I know it's hard, but just continue to be patient and wait it out, and don't worry about what people are saying online. A lot of people I've noticed, particularly Hermes videos seem to attract a lot of people who want to kind of say, well, I got this and I didn't spend anything. I got this, I didn't spend anything. It's really important for you, first of all, to say what year that happened, okay? And to say the color of your bag, okay? And to say the size of the bag. Because if I make a video, okay, and I'm saying, oh, I scored a Birkin without spend, more people are going to click on that than if I say Hermes unboxing, Birkin 35, okay, and the color is like lime. That's a super bright color. People don't really want to buy Birkins, Kellys, and Constances in those super bright colors, particularly in those like large sizes like the Birkin 35 and the Kelly 32. So I know that it's hard for a lot of you on, social media, because you're seeing people say, well, I got this without spend. A lot of the time, I'm sorry, okay? Not fighting, guys, okay? Don't be mad at me. A lot of the time, people are talking about those larger bags. I have yet to see someone, okay, on YouTube, okay, unboxing a very, very hard to get bag, okay, in a competitive boutique. Hear me out here. Birkin, Kelly, Constance, competitive store, and as a walk-in. It's not gonna happen for a competitive location with, those neutrals that people love. Cray, Nata, gold, okay? And it's like a Birkin 25 or Kelly 25. It's not gonna happen because those are highly coveted. I've said this time and time again. Sometimes some of you guys, you fight with me in the comments, we have a pleasant camaraderie about it. But I've said it time and time again. A lot of the time, sometimes as well, walk-in orders are because a VIP has rejected a bag. So sometimes a VIP will say, hey, I don't want to buy that, or a big spender doesn't want to buy that. And then the SA is like, oh, okay, what am I going to do? Someone walks in and says, hey, can I have a Birkin? Yeah, okay, cool. Here you are. You can have a Birkin, okay? So I know that it's very, very stressful because of social media. Don't fall for the influencer smoke and mirrors. By that, what I mean is there are many people who are scoring without spend, but I would say the majority of people who have scored without spend, that was a unicorn experience. It happened one time, and it is not indicative of the norm, particularly of those super competitive locations where there are people who are willing to spend money and willing to do one-to-one spend to help the SA to meet their numbers, okay? Don't forget, there's also this thing called survivorship bias. This is really important. Only the survivors get to tell the story, okay? We all know dead men tell no tales, honey. We're the survivors of the Mary Celeste, okay? They are not around to tell us what happened on that ship. And that's my point. So don't get caught up in the social media stuff. I don't get caught up in the social media stuff, I guess because I have a page. So I know the types of shenanigans that go on with a lot of influencers and things like that. I know that for a lot of influencers, they have profiles in the boutique where they're shopping at. They're buying a lot of stuff as well that maybe they're not unboxing, okay? Or not necessarily telling you about. So their offers are coming much easier than someone who maybe doesn't have a profile and isn't really making things happen. So the bottom line of what I'm saying is, yes, unicorn walk-ins do happen. No, they're not going to be happening often, and they tend to happen for larger sizes and those sort of brighter colors. During the stressful period of, C19, you know what I'm talking about, Hermes was offering more bags to people, which is why you saw a massive influx of a lot of Birkin unboxings and Kelly unboxings, particularly last year. That window has closed, that ship has sailed, and I think if you really follow a lot of influencers, you're not really seeing those videos anymore of people who are just posting unboxings without spend. They're not as many as last year, and that's because I think a lot of the very competitive locations are requiring spend. Something else to remember, because I know many of you follow influencers, so a lot of your favorite influencers, you might be like, well, how come she's getting a mini Kelly and a Kelly Pochette and I don't get one? Or how come she got a really beautiful Kelly 25 and I don't get one? Like I said, these people have spend. So people have spend. Maybe someone was spending and then stopped spending for a while and then went back into the boutique and was offered a bag. Just remember, in the influencer world, there are a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's way glossier and more interesting if I'm like, hey guys, I just got back from Paris, I got Kelly Pochette Exotic, Mini Kelly Exotic, and a Shadow Birkin. Okay, and I didn't have to spend anything, and I got all of them by myself. Whereas I might say, my husband walked in and got me the Shadow. I, begged and pleaded, please, sir, can I have some more in my Oliver Twist voice? Okay, for the Mini Kelly and the Kelly Pochette. Which one's gonna get more views? I think you know what I'm trying to say. I was talking to one of my subscribers who graciously allowed me to share something that he has just experienced recently. So one of my subscribers, John, was telling me that he was in the Strasbourg boutique. I've always been interested in Strasbourg because this is the city where my favorite designer, Thierry Mugler, was born. And he was there recently, and yeah, he was chatting to an essay, and he was asking for a larger bag that he's interested in. And he was told that, yeah, it's just like it's even hard to get those like larger bags. Like they haven't had like a larger bag for some time. So that's also something to factor in. I do think that these logistics issues are also going to come at some point to impact France. And I think when they impact France, it's going to be quite tough, to be honest with you. It's going to affect a lot of people. Something else that he said was that he also was in Belgium recently, and he was told that it is a waitlist system. I have also heard that the Belgian boutiques are very competitive, and they also cater towards locals, and people wait for ages to get their bags. Okay, so as you can see, in every market it's different, and in every market there are stock issues, and there are people waiting for bags and trying to score, and you know, it being hard. So it's not impossible, but it's not easy. So if you want these bags, go out and fight for them. Okay, don't fall for the social media, YouTube, Instagram trap of everything looking so easy. It is not easy to get a Birkin, Kelly, or Constance at the moment. Okay, those of you who are in the UK, there's some people in the UK who've been waiting for a very long time on the list and haven't got anything yet. There are others who are getting them. I think some of that also depends on spend, and I do think that, in my opinion, the British boutiques, they do look at your profile and spend more. So I think sometimes, like particularly when you think of the UK stores, people are like, well, how come that person got a bag and they're in the UK store, they didn't, you know, spend anything? Well, you don't know what they spend. There are other people who are buying a lot of other things in the UK, and they're absolutely getting offers. So that's just something to bear in mind, and just keep that in your mind. Okay, you guys, I really hope that you have enjoyed today's video, the first episode of my 3-episode Hermes series. I'd love to hear back from you. Don't forget to drop a like for the video. Tell me what you think of everything. Honestly, guys, let me tell you something. Okay, it's actually a good thing that Hermes do not have a boutique in Africa, because that store will be rammed. Okay, it's gonna be full of people. It'd be an absolute nightmare. I'm waiting for them to open a boutique on the continent. I feel like they should open it in Cairo or Cape Town or Johannesburg, and I feel like it would be so successful. The moment they do, you know what time it is, I'll be there. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow in my next video.